Greetings, Sunday School. Have you ever been in a situation where instead of trusting God's guidance and seeking His guidance, you go with your own gut, your own intellect and human wisdom? You come up with what you feel is the best path for you. I'm sure that we have all been there as people. But interestingly, this lesson, our third lesson for the church here, speaks to us on the topic learning to seek God's guidance. We are still in the book of Joshua, but our golden text comes from a very familiar passage. That is Proverbs 3, verses 5 to 6. We know this well. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your path. We want to explore in our classes this understanding and idea of seeking God's guidance coming from Joshua chapter 9 to 10. We are introduced to a new set of people called the Gibeonites, and we will find it interesting how they tricked God's people, and Joshua, as their military and spiritual leader, fell to their tricks, and they signed a treaty that they would be safe and they would not be troubled by Israel. Later down they found out that they were tricked and they had to live with the consequences of their actions. They were disobedient to God's command not to engage in any kind of treaty with other nations. They did not seek God's guidance through the means that God had set up for them to know what His will was. We are seeing, as our first outline puts it, the negative effects of a prayerless life. Our first outline is that prayerlessness leads to deception. That's something we must look at as God's people. And we must also embrace and own up to our mistakes. That's what Israel had to do. It was already their error, and so they had to just take responsibility for their actions. But what I like about this lesson, Sunday School, is that it causes us to recognize how faithful our God is. And that's the common thread running through the lesson that we want to emphasize. Note what our central truth says. Our central truth tells us that God is faithful to help those who seek His guidance. As the lesson and the story unfolds and comes to a close, we recognize that Joshua and the nation of Israel sought the Lord. In the end, they sought the Lord and God gave them victory over their enemies. We want to look at God's faithfulness. We want to look at human weakness in the lesson. And we want to see how we can recover in times of failing to seek God's guidance. But most importantly, we need to seek to commit to always seeking God's guidance. And that's something we must wrestle with in our classes. When do we seek God's guidance? Is it when we have no other option? Or do we do like the golden text, which says, in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your path? These are some things to think about. So I'm looking forward to see us on Sunday or whenever we meet in our classes to really flesh out this idea of learning to seek God's guidance. How is it done? How do I know when God is leading me or where He's leading me? There are some important things to talk about. Looking forward to see you, everyone. God bless you.